Recording in progress.
Let's take a deep breath.
Welcome to the energy bath. Energy bath is also known as breathify. This breathing exercise is very energizing and can be really helpful in relieving anxiety, nervousness, and fear. But when you need a boost of personal power, it also has many physical benefits, including expanding your lung capacity and boosting your immune system.
To gain access
If
to
you're
the
pregnant or having your period,
enemy threat is high, so expect
you
contact.
should probably skip this one. The energy bath is a quick, rhythmic breath, about 2 or 3 per second. Lengthen in nose, upper closed. Deep exhales, and then sharply through the nose, so that the air makes a snorting sound. Listen to how it sounds when I do it.
¿Qué pasa?
With each exhale, you automatically get more that glass with each inhale. Take care of themselves. Well, listen to me do it again. You can practice this breath
Ya estoy
using
manteniendo presionado, lo mantengo presionado, pero no hace nada.
whatever you feel like it. You may want to do this one at
Hay uno de los dos que es el traidor y no lo detecta.
Ultra One, activity is increasing near your location. Stay alert.
Imposible.
Let's begin the energy breathing. I'll guide you for 20 breaths. We'll begin with 1 per second to get the technique down. Then you can speed it up a bit. Grenade! I'll let you exhale 20 times. Try to time your exhales.
Ultra One, intel is tracking the position of a member of the Las Almas cartel, codenamed El Toreador. You have execute authority.
Pero vamos, Rebol y yo no hemos sido seguros que estamos haciendo la primera prueba. A mí también me ha bastante sentido, pareciendo aire así.
Continuamos.
Try it one more time for count of 3. And then I'll give you some time to try it on your own.
Vale, acabo de pillar a Pato con las manos en la mano.
No, no.
Mato a Ramiro. Mato asesino, hacerme caso, lo acabo de ver. Acabo de ver comiéndote al pobre Ramiro. A ver. De verdad, me deja llegar hasta el cadáver. O sea, si tenías que haber matado.
Una la nave nodriza. Ahora pues.
Thank you, everybody, for joining me on
Ultra One, be advised you're approaching the target's location now.
Nada.
Yo estaba en el yo lo único que he visto fue Axo. Cuando vi el desmadero, Policarpio creo que era. Cuando iba a hacer la misión de la
Enemy contact! Throwing grenade!
Damage incoming! Reviving you. I'm hit!
So very strong back. TikTok
Ultra One, we're seeing increased activity in the area. Stay sharp. Ultra One, UAV is being actual to Ultra One. An enemy squad marked you as a high-value target. Your location is compromised.
T'inquiète pas, you'll be okay.
and then I started selecting
Back in the fight!
Grenade!
Enemy operators incoming. Prepare for contact.
space shuttle site in East Texas, and I also
Yo por la especie de Rebor no es seguro porque es el que ha puesto la mano justo para
Vale, pues entonces, claro, no creo que no es Policarpio porque estaba haciendo las cosas conmigo, no conmigo, pero yo lo he visto. Así que solo me queda Momo y Rabel.
¿Viste cómo me traes contigo al deportivo?
Es verdad, sí. Vale.
A ver. ¿Qué pruebas hay que no te botan en mano? Que luego la cago. ¿Qué pruebas hay contra Ramiro?
Por dentro. No, a ver. Yo he visto a Policarpio haciendo pruebas. No estaba haciéndolo a la vez que yo, pero lo he visto, o sea, adelantándose un poco. Así que no creo que le diera tiempo a matar a nadie. Vosotros dais fe por otra gente. Y los únicos que quedaban eran Ramiro, pero ya que tú vas a antes por bicho. Así que me queda Ramiro. En caso de que todo
A mí me queda lo que sea y luego me voy a retroceder.
¿Qué me ha costado a mí? Pobre Ramiro. No era Ramiro.
blockchain block of information. So it's usually in a block of transactions. The blockchain is completely public. That's what the blockchain is. It's the core of what everything is.
que aprovechen los buenos negocios.
Nada, está arreglado.
Send a strong point for your squad, soldier.
Also, a part of the best way of explaining smart contract. Let's say that you're late on a payment for your car, and there's going to be another person. You signed a contract when you finance the car that it can be repossessed if you don't make the payments. The problem with, I guess, contracts in general is that due to human emotion or, checks and balances and people in the middle, it doesn't actually mean that you can immediately get it repossessed. So there's nothing automating the process. You have to send it off to this person. They have to go find your car. They have to take your car. And then you probably keep calling like, hey, I don't want you to do this. But on the blockchain, there's no human interaction. It's all code. So if you did that on the blockchain, there's a contract that in a smart contract immediately executes when certain things are done. So it could be that you bought a car on the blockchain, and if you missed a payment on the blockchain, you have to have collateral. And you say, okay, well, you can take my collateral if I don't make a payment. So the smart contract will immediately execute the contract if you are breaking the contract. So they go, okay, you missed the payment, whoop, here you go, and then it's immediately done. So within 2 seconds, the smart contract can execute on whatever the standard is for the contract to do automations for you instead of relying on people or other things or biases to see if a contract will go through and not going through the court either. So it's completely automated is what a smart contract is.
Absolutely. Now, in recent times, Caleb, we've seen quite a few, how would I say, certain criminal organizations, etc., some terrorist organizations, etc., using crypto for certain funding purposes. How does that affect basically the perception of crypto, and is there a way how we can change that, or basically when we're working with a bank, for example, there's the KYC, right? So how could this KYC part be done better according to your opinion?
Well, there's a lot of ways it could be done better, but the main way that they're changing that is, obviously Bitcoin and cryptocurrency was initially used on the deep web or the dark web for transactions, so people couldn't tell who was getting it or what, because you could create an unlimited amount of wallet addresses or bank accounts. So the way that they're doing it is, depending on the exchange you use, the main way people buy cryptocurrency is through exchanges like FTX or Coinbase or Binance, and they each are regulated by their own countries on how to do their KYCs. So there's other ways of doing it too. I prefer DEXs, which are decentralized exchanges, because 2 years ago when they came out with the taxes on automatic capital gains, it's ridiculous trying to actually think of all the capital gains and losses based on how volatile the market is, and the governments don't know how to really tax it, because I've seen things that I don't think will be addressed for like 30 years in terms of blockchain, because of how fast and how many loopholes people can go through. So I would just say, a better way of doing it would be that there is no KYC, honestly, because KYC traps you into, if there's KYC, it's regulated by the SEC, and the SEC is looking to clamp on anything possible, but that also gives rise to criminal organizations for sure. But there's also SEC tokens coming out. So these are tokens that have gone through all of the processes to actually be a financially backed security. And those are some of the best ones to buy, because they are the safest ones. Those are probably going to be the ones used by the masses in the future. That's probably going to be the USD coin eventually with the government or any other government in general. So that's probably the best way
That's what is known as the central bank digital currencies.
Yeah, Yeah, exactly. Every country has a different one, but it costs like anywhere from $500,000 to $1 million, depending on which licenses you get with the SEC. So I think KYC, it depends on the exchange. Qcoin is a really good one. Kraken is a good one. Coinbase is going to take the most money from you, and they have ridiculous KYC standards. And Binance used to be a good one until it was banned in the US. So it just depends exchange to exchange, but the one with the least amount of KYC is preferably the one, because you don't want to explain if you buy NFTs, it becomes like 20 times more complex going through a KYC place like Coinbase to try and explain how you bought an NFT for $10,000, it's now $1,000, but then you staked it and then you gained a percentage on it, and then you were paid like $10,000 on top of that in the community token, because that's like 10 levels of complexity, right? So that's like my personal opinion on that.
Okay, interesting. And now with what is happening with certain institutions, like before I get into that, in terms of so blockchain, crypto, etc., everything is about decentralization, right? So, for example, with what recently happened with FTX, etc., I feel like there's going to be more government regulations coming in place, Caleb. So, how do you believe that's going to change the game?
Well, it's changing. It's changing everything. This is the worst black swan event that's ever happened in crypto, ever. And it's not just FTX either. It's 130 entities underneath FTX who have all filed for bankruptcy. And it's changing regulation in crypto. It's changing all the NFT market. It's changing how celebrities endorse it. It's changing class action lawsuits. So we're now going to probably finally see solid regulation on what crypto is and how it is classified. Because there's been pending lawsuits, but there's been no proof of anything. It also is going to change fund managers and probably regulations in crypto funds, because it was pretty light in terms of like what you could do with the crypto fund, but it's gonna change everything forever. So it's gonna be, I wouldn't say it's gonna be good for a while, in my opinion. Yeah.
Gotcha. Interesting. But do you think that's the whole point of this is all this being decentralized? So do you think it's bad in a way to have the government involved?
I mean, not necessarily, right? There's all these different types of coins out there for different reasons, and FTX, right, was a centralized entity. But if you look at decentralized exchanges, which are and the way an exchange works is you usually have to get a fuck ton of money from any entity, and they'll give you $1 billion, they'll give you $100 million, and that's for liquidity. So you can issue 10 million coins, but if you don't have
them 10 million coins
to back that up, there is no liquidity. It's just a coin. It's just there, right? There, right? It changes.
Why is it in third?
For that coin, that's where the liquidity comes from. So exchanges,
that's because you asked for the
their
third.
money off of liquidity and lending it out to people, just like a bank would, right? They take
2 different coins.
percentages of lending it out to protocols, to NFT projects for liquidity, other coins, and they launch tokens on their platform. Now, where it gets bad is, in the centralized end.
Welcome to the third world.
Preparation is done. Now you deploy to the warzone.
With the centralized exchange, the operator of the centralized exchange, we call it millionaire exchange, and we get a percentage of everything. It's kind of like a ATM machine, right? If we all buy that much in Ethereum, someone buys it from our exchange, we get a percentage for entering into it, exiting into it. So basically, we're all locking out a coin, we're making money, being a liquidity provider. So that means that we can make money off transaction fees, we can make money off sharing those fees together. And so none of those have come back, right? Every one of those have done pretty fucking well, very, very well, actually. So there's ones like Uniswap. It depends on every blockchain, but Uniswap is another good one. And those are all just ran on a protocol. No one owns them. I mean, there was technically like developers on there, but no one can really like take everything from you on there because it's ran by the people. Liquidity pools. So I think it just shows like we have when it comes to consumer-friendly products, people perpetually want centralized entities because that's what we're used to. And so the way that we build and we make them easier for people to understand, I think there needs to be a lot of work in centralized exchanges to where it's not scary to get a MetaMask, to get a Web3 Chrome extension that will then enter you into the Web3 world of how to use your crypto and other.
How much you got?
Buying coins. So I think that's the main thing, right? Decentralized, I mean, Coinbase.
Yeah, 30% days. Come to the deal with.
There was the assumption that they were too close, and they were asking for just
2 for 50. Yeah. No, they 30. But he do a deal for 3.
It's backed dollar by dollar, and it has to be, or it's supposed to be checked and audited every month or every quarter, depending on what company it is. So because they created such a massive coin with a huge market cap and stability, the government is watching them, so they're held up to higher standards. Now FTX
Do a deal for 3.
was selling futures and all these derivatives, and they were washing their own money, putting it in there, mixing it all together, and doing it so fast people couldn't tell what was happening. So I think it's just creating rules of how we should be working with centralized entities, because the decentralized entities are doing well. It's just the onboarding process is really complex.
That's like $100.
So that's kind of how I feel. I don't feel like centralized exchanges are bad. I just feel like the ones who have been bad have really been bad.
It costs more if you go to somebody
and there's
else.
better examples of decentralized exchanges.
Trying to go buy some cheap
Gotcha.
2 for 50.
Interesting.
Out the sock
So I got me personally. I got into the crypto game a little late, I would say. So I bought my first Bitcoin about 3 years ago, and that was the first time I got into the game. But I feel like it's late, so I haven't been actively, buying and selling coins or whatever.
Give me 50.
Let it sit there. So I remember the time I was buying it. Bitcoin was at a very higher rate, and right now I believe it's around 60,000, correct?
Yep.
What is the future of Bitcoin, Caleb? Where do you think it's heading towards? It's gonna come back up. Some people say it's gonna be back higher than ever. Where is it?
If you do the 3 for 80, you can give me.
Nobody can see the future, but from your professional experience, what do you think?
Well, so I mean, there is a pretty consistent graph that everyone follows called the Bitcoin Rainbow Chart.
We get 3 for 80. I still got to pay $30 in.
Because Bitcoin rules all of Web3. It controls it. It's like imagine like the U.S. government and how the whole world watches the U.S. on a world stage, and they're like, okay, like let's see what's happening there and how it's going to affect the rest of the world. That's what Bitcoin is for everything, because it's just a coin. It doesn't have any more complexities. It's doing pretty well. It has a limited amount of money, limited amount of coins that can ever be mined, and every 4 years on average, it gets harder to mine Bitcoin. So that means it's not going to issue out as many coins. And so that artificially, on purpose, raises the price of Bitcoin for moments like these, right? And the next date that it's supposed to do that is in 2024. And so after every halving, it always sees a massive rise. And so that just happens artificially because it's built in there. I mean, it's supply and demand. It's basic economics. And I'll send the link in the chat right now. But this is how you can tell if it's from all of the time that Bitcoin has ever been in existence. It'll tell you how it's gone up and down. And right now it's at a point where it shouldn't be as low as it's at right now, because naturally it should go down and then eventually go up. But this is a black swan event. So this is a man-made event, and it's gotten a lot of press. So it's not like, someone's been hacked or anything. This is literally user error that's caused this much of a crash right now across the whole market, and because they had billions of dollars in all of crypto. So it's lower than it should be. So right now is a perfect time to buy, but like the most secure investment that you really can make is in Bitcoin, because you always know it's always going to go up, because the halving point at the very least will eventually make it go up at any given time.
You basically ain't even doing no deal. How you gonna pay Ethereum, 3 for the same damn price?
Unlimited coins that will always come out, and it's made to be deflationary. It's not meant to. It's meant to be volatile, eventually stable, as a way of like paying a computer to like work. It's
talking about 3 for 8.
Okay, so I'll pay Ethereum to then process the system, but Bitcoin's just a coin. So that's why it's a pretty safe investment, and that's why there's Bitcoin ETFs. That's why there's whole crypto funds based off of Bitcoin. It's pretty consistent if you just follow the halving chart and you follow that rainbow. Okay, it's never been below this point. Okay, so it handled the liquidity, and this is literally like the media, everywhere. That's when the media goes, like everyone's getting a second mortgage now, buying some Bitcoin, getting their retirement in Bitcoin. And you're like, okay, I should really sell, because I shouldn't be hearing this, like we can't handle the surges that are coming. So everything is stabilized. Usually it's going to be a little while longer before that happens. And right now is an amazing time to buy. Like, it's an insane time to buy, because the lowest last time, in terms of the lowest it's been, was $5,000. And that was when it really crashed, and then saw a crazy write-up. So right now we're at the definite bottom of what we've seen in the last few years.
Yeah, I got you, bro. Abato. Somebody's waiting outside for y'all. Both of y'all gonna be cooked. Look, you right here.
Hostile UAV in the area. Enemy UAV overhead.
You kept your squad mate protected. Contract complete. We've located high-value equipment in enemy containers. Move in and secure that equipment. Gas is closing in. Relocating the safe zone.
It's just another way of just imagining like the blockchain used to be.
One safe down. 2 to go.
Install them on blockchain. This is when this thing was created. This date. So it's like we do a contract.
I got some heat. Mini book. Mini back. Mini back.
Let's say someone buys that contract now.
Who wouldn't have known or ever thought that shit would end this way? I ain't here for the politic, and I stay out the way. They try to watch every move and see every move. Like, got a muggy pack. Go got the shit that he's doing. They didn't go to I told y'all maybe I got outside and how it's empty state. Just don't go that way.
You've secured all content. Contract complete. You've got gas moving in. The gas is starting to split. Stay sharp down there.
It's a bit hard because of the greatness that we've seen in the last year.
Advise you head to the safe zone now. You have a lot of ground to cover.
This help me see the area more better.
Stay here.
Billions of dollars that are going into marketing. It's the same people who created that. Eight also made $300 million today.
Loot here.
It's a massive hit.
With the Naruto boys. Kakashi Sensei.
Enemy UAV active.
Yeah. Then you have in your pants.
Most wanted target
You just had it.
Contract complete.
I'm a pouch here. I'll take that armor pouch.
Times like these is where I buy a blue chip NFT. Blue chip NFTs are like the top 15 projects in NFTs. That would be multiple breakout of crypto punks. Other side worlds. There's also, kind of blue chip ones.
Hostile UAV in the area.
Penguins and there's also like People, who was a very famous artist in the NFT space, who sold an NFT for $69 million. So you can always bet on him making this money. But you just search like blue chip NFT projects, because it's where people value. So long as nothing bad happens, right? So I would always bet on the top ones, top value ones.
I'm taking fire!
He had on.
Fight for your chance to redeploy.
He had the purple armor. So
Voy por el gulag. Buenas tardes. ¿Nadie? ¿No te mataron? Madres. Oh, take it through. My partner finger fuck him up. Y'all got one?
getting entering into all these giveaways, and they just immediately sell them when they get the free NFT. There's being on like lists where you get secret giveaways, or if you buy into an NFT project, you can do it. But I think the best way, right? The whole point of blockchain side hustle is to show you don't have to have a tech career to actually do good in crypto. Because what's the main problem in crypto right now, or Web3, is there's not enough normal people in it. It's very much of an echo chamber. So what we teach in blockchain side hustles is the basics of how to day trade NFTs. Like, it's just learning supply and demand and asset management, just like you would in stocks. And then it's also learning how you can package up your services as a consultant, and then start getting hired by crypto protocols and entities to then be someone who shows stuff. Because they don't. That's why I got into that, right? People don't know TikTok, crypto. They don't know that at all. So I was initially hired as a consultant to teach them how to do media. Because these guys are mostly developers. They've been on their computers their whole lives, and they only connect through conferences mostly. So there's money to be made if I've heard of people getting hired if you know how to write stories or write books, because you get hired to create lore for NFT gaming projects. And you can just be a lore consultant and creating whole worlds for people.
Gas is moving in.
Music NFTs also, they always need producers, or they need people to help them understand the music world. And if you also hold an audience yourself, people will pay for that. So you don't actually have to know anything about crypto to make money off of it. You just have to know how to translate your services and your knowledge into the crypto world so that people will be willing to buy it, which is mostly what we do. Is we help people learn how to get non-tech jobs in crypto, like social media management. Nobody knows how to do that. Nobody has specialized consulting services. If you're good at networking, very business development, because aren't good at partying or going events. And then we teach day trading. But then you can also, what I usually do is I look at Reddit threads where people talk about crypto faucets, or I sometimes research ways of, there's decentralized courts.
Gas is inbound. The gas is merging. Expect contact.
A jury member whenever there's a fight between two different DAOs, and you can judge, who's right or wrong.
The safe zone is far from your location.
For being part of their jury, and then you have to stake your money, and then if you vote against the majority of the jurors, you all vote together, and they'll award you 2 times the amount that you put in. And then what I like doing right now is crypto raffles. You can buy like raffle tickets that are like, I don't know, 1,000 times cheaper. Like I've entered raffles in like $900 NFTs or like $200 NFTs, and I've like won like 3 times out of it, and basically made all my money back. But it's like a $1 and you see what happens. So those are always fun to do, but kind of like gray area in terms of like where you can get into. But that's the easiest one that I usually do. I think the website is called Metalbit.com, and that's where you can return the prize pools went up to $100,000 worth of NFTs, $1,000, $20,000, and they'll tell you like how much it is and that stuff.
Caleb, I want to open the door. Pretty sure if you have interesting questions, it's definitely a worthy subject. So, gang,
how's it going, y'all? Shout out to you, Caleb. Thanks for being here, Caleb. Just one quick question on this that I've always pondered on. Where exactly is this blockchain information being held, or where is it being stored? Because like you're saying that it's a ledger of transactions, or like you said, digital contracts, or pieces of art that essentially have timestamps that are ingrained. Where is this information like ingrained? You know, is there like a cloud, or like what's the deal with that?
Yeah, so this has to do with mining, right? Anyone can technically mine a cryptocurrency. I'm going to use like Ethereum as an example. Everyone who mines has to download the full blockchain, and you have to download the software where you take it all in, and then it'll start creating. You have to verify transactions for people. So it has to, let's imagine that we're all miners. My computer has to communicate to your computer, then your computer to your computer. Like, this is all rigged. It can take up to like 5 to 10 minutes. And every one of us needs to have the whole blockchain downloaded. I don't know what the software is or like where you download it all from, but the easiest way of like looking up all the transactions, like it's a very common thing if I'm doing like a big purchase or someone's paying me for services. They'll send me $20,000 and then they'll send the Etherscan link. So the Etherscan link is they've downloaded the whole blockchain. They have it like second by second, and they'll tell you exactly when it's confirmed or not. So if it hasn't showed up in your
Bro, that's a whole ass team, bro. And you have your mic on full blast, they can hear you. I would suggest muting yourself.
It's not working. I don't know what's happening. Is it still like processing on your end? So Etherscan, I think it's called Etherscan.io.
Yo, Crash.
Yeah.
I suggest you mute yourself because they can hear that.
And that's a good way of like being able to look up.
You need to reload your gun for your partner.
Dang it. I should use my shotgun.
You're good, bro. GG's.
I was gonna re-employ. I was looking for that box. Damn, I think it worked. Oh, no, that's the lead.
Gas is closing in.
Also can have like your code phrase to your wallet. So there is like, sure, there is servers, but it's not all on one server. It's like shared amongst all the people who are mining it too, because there's backups on backups on backup.
Okay, so I guess what I'm trying to understand is, say I were to.
My man.
So the code that Ethereum is based on, code, yeah, like anyone can copy the code and create their own blockchain. You can't take control of the blockchain though. Anyone can create their own blockchain based off of the previous code. That's like you can look up the Bitcoin code and create your own blockchain based off of that. People do that all the time. If you want to become a miner, usually you buy like a specific, because what you need is a really good graphics card to do it, to handle all the
Come on, man, turn it down, bro.
algorithms that go with that. So
That's
that's
the graphics card price went up.
right. I mean, that also has to do with China too. U.S. and sanctions on that in terms of chips. But yeah, like that's why there's mining farms in multiple countries, and it all has to do with electricity. But you usually just buy specific. You type in like Ethereum miner, and there's like a little box with a fan in it. That's what it looks like, and that will come like preloaded with it, and then you like hook it up to your own computer, you set it up. That's what the process is, like downloading it, setting it up, and connecting to the network, and be able to make money off of that.
Why the hell they got all these damn rigs with 40,000 rams installed?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
What the fuck is that?
Hello?
Shut your mouth,
Oh,
boy.
I can hear the fucking enemies.
Turn
But I
that
can't hear my
dumbass shit
Bro,
off.
nobody
That's
cares, bro.
fantastic.
Boom, wrong hit.
Hey, Big Tuck, up next.
Hey, how's it going, Caleb? I appreciate you taking the time to share this information.
Oh, here they are,
To the blockchain. So, my first question is kind of like a two-part question. So, I bought years ago. It might have been like when I first started, maybe like 7 years ago. But I didn't really understand cryptocurrency and like Bitcoin, and it got a little too over my head in terms of volatility. So I sold everything. Is there a way? I know you said it has smart contracts. Smart contracts, something that was developed in the early days as well. Where I can go back and actually look to see how much money I would have made if I had saved, maybe like 7 years ago.
Yeah, if you still have that account, it should show you the future scan for the link of transaction, and it'll tell you the value of it at the time of selling it, and then you can find out how much.
So I actually registered this account. So I got back into it as of recently. For some reason, it wasn't showing me all the old information from my first Coinbase account. I was wondering if there's some website where I can see, that smart contract when I initially purchased.
The other way of doing, if you know your wallet address, you can look that up too. If you know your old wallet address, that's the only other way you can look it up. Otherwise, Coinbase is supposed to give you that when you do the sell.
Gotcha. Okay, I'll reach out to Coinbase. My second
Who
question.
knows, man? Never died in me.
You're clear to engage all targets.
Very popular now for investors as well, or it was. As the prices drop as far as like real estate on there, and would you suggest that being as an option as opposed to just buying coin?
So there's two types of. Metaverse, yeah. So, that depends on the metaverse. It is definitely it's also based off of underlying cryptocurrency of the blockchain. So you'll be able to see that. Some big ones are zombie space, sandbox. Sandbox is probably most there's thousands.
You need a ride up there? You finna look for it still, or?
Hell no. I just donated for
See, you didn't have it with you at CSL?
No, let me show you what I have.
Man, just keep looking for it. Just keep looking for it.
This damn thing.
Alright, I'll keep looking for it. I'm gonna be ready.
I can't find it. They said they just gave me a new one.
Alright, well, I'm ready.
Let me put all this shit. Damn. It's too easy. I know they in this bitch.
Be advised, Intel has located multiple strongholds. Gas is moving.
Just like used whenever they use it, right? In houses. And that's kind of like something that's happening is a cheap way of getting is kind of being a broker, renting out those spaces too. Just like you would in houses in Miami, because no one's going to use them in the meantime. They just bought them all. They got stupid, crazy prices, like where they probably bought the plots for like $3 million, and they're just sitting on it. So like, I don't really
Your team is in the safe zone.
I'd say most of them are built on Ethereum for sure.
They got us way out in Arabia.
Watch your fire!
Well, let's hurry up. So.
What you do is, when the ball is to market, right, you need stable coins, right? If I'm going to sell Bitcoin at 40,000 plus coin, crypto in general, I would sell it to USDC. I wouldn't take it out.
I got a
Keep it in crypto.
the trio auto.
So now I can lock in the price of $40,000. And then what I can do is right? I love USDC. Different versions of it on every other blockchain, but you can actually take it.
I just found a cold air gun. Found a 007 pistol. I got that 7-round 007 pistol.
It could be up to 16% back monthly, and it compounds. So, but the longer you lock it in, the more APY you get. And there's some crazy protocols out there that you don't want to get into. Like being over 40% interest is pretty sketchy. It's a race to the bottom of those scenarios. You want to stay 15% in terms of interest on those. The higher you get, I've been in scenarios where I was getting $87,000 a year, getting 60% an hour, and I doubled my money in like 3 days. And I was like, I gotta get out.
Alright, here I come. Let me turn my game system off.
Like, I had to trade 5 different ways, and I didn't know at any given point if I was going to get hacked. And that's like, you don't want to be in those situations. You want to go into institutions like Coinbase, Crypto.com, and stake it, and then they'll give you a percentage back. And that's a good way of just locking your crypto away, and it's just better than a savings account. Because if you're going to put it in a savings account, you might as well stake it. And it's still going to be in a dollar coin. You just have to do your read on which ones you prefer and which ones are backed and audited by the government most consistently.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Yep.
Definitely
Yeah,
questions.